T20, the shortest format of our game, featuring some of the most explosive batting the cricketing world has ever seen.
Carlos Brathwaite! Remember the name!
Today's T20 scores looks like some very par ODI totals. 277, 272, and even South Africa chasing 259 with 7 balls to spare. Amidst all of this, are batsmen still too obsessed with milestones? Let's take a deeper look at this. Enter Virat Kohli, widely regarded as the cricket GOAT, an all-format legend, and the king. And I completely agree with all those characteristics. But in the format of T20, he has a fatal flaw: strike rate. Now, it's a very controversial topic in T20s. How important is the strike rate, and when do you need to have a great one? With regard to Virat Kohli, we've seen him play situations incredibly well in T20s. Even in the past few years, we saw a masterclass of an inning against Pakistan in the T20 World Cup 2022. He came in when wickets were falling, and he just hung in there with Pandya, and in the end unleashed his inner beast to win us that game with some beautiful shots, as if he was in another dimension.
Kohli goes down the ground. Kohli goes out of the ground. Wow. This is a sensational hit from Virat Kohli.
But in this case, he was more focused on the situation. When setting a total in a T20, it's often found that Virat Kohli slows down before a 50 or a 100 for the milestone. And now I'm not accusing him, but there is a lot of proof that he's been doing this a lot lately and in his entire career. So this is a big problem and might be very worrying for Indians ahead of the T20 World Cup. Now, while he doesn't do this every single time, there are many instances where he has done this. Like in the Cricket World Cup, he always used to slow down before his centuries. And in a lot of his RCB centuries, he has slowed down, just like the latest one. Bangalore versus Rajasthan. Virat Kohli scored a 67-ball century on what he described as a two-paced pitch. Astonishingly, it took him 10 balls to get from 87 to 100. Sure, it was getting harder to hit the ball towards the end of the inning, but some of those balls should have been hit, but there was absolutely zero intent for him to hit the ball out of the park or at least to the boundaries, splicing the fielders. Instead, tap, 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 single, and a century. He got a 6 in the middle of that as well, but Nandre Burger's 19th over went for 4 runs, where it could have gone for a lot more. There are a few situations wherein batsmen could play slowly, chasing a small total, being cautious after a few wickets have fallen, rebuilding an inning, and holding one end up. These are just a few of the examples. Ruturaj scored a 58-ball 67, chasing 138 against KKR, but that turned out to be a perfect example of holding one end up in a small chase while others hit. As an Indian cricket follower, I'm deeply worried about Virat Kohli's mindset in T20s ahead of the T20 World Cup. Moving away from Virat Kohli, it's common that a lot of T20 batsmen do this and sacrifice their own team's total for their own milestone. Virat Kohli, being the icon he is, came to my mind first. There are so many other T20 batsmen who do this, and they can drag a team's potential score down. And I'm not saying Virat Kohli's century dragged RCB down, because in fact, that inning was phenomenal, and that's the only reason RCB could even put up that kind of total. But then again, we're talking about a format that has had a 277 score in an IPL match. You need to hit. When you're setting a total on that kind of pitch, it doesn't matter. In the death overs, your priority is to hit, hit, and hit. And that's why all T20 batsmen should just forget about milestones and think about team milestones, 150, 200, 250 even. Harsha Bogle rightly said that we could even remove T20 milestones. It's a distraction to our batsmen. Just going to clarify, I love Virat Kohli, but this is a real big flaw of his and for many other T20 batsmen around the world. As an all-format player, his experience and ability to guide his team through situations is unparalleled. Thank you so much for watching.